Okay. You're going to have something tonight. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm asking if you did not finish sections A through D for grammar review or chapter 3, put that in your planner for homework tonight. Okay. Did you finish? Did you finish? Yeah, good. All right, and then now you're going to need to listen to Mr. G for the next chapter that we're moving into in grammar. Hopefully this will get you going on being thoughtful about how you write your paragraphs in your report for your academic fair. Okay? 11:20.
Right. Okay, everyone turn to page 79. New chapter, chapter 4. Rather? Finish for homework, right? Page 79.
Ask the penguin. 79. Can you put it on your desk, please? I'll get Oliver to come back in. Oliver?
Okay, the new chapter is called Effective Paragraphs. Like Mrs. McCann said, everything that we talk about in review, because you guys have done this a little bit already, I heard, but this is really important for your academic fair papers that you're going to write. So you need to focus on writing good paragraphs, good structure, because you're going to be graded on all that structure that we're going to go over. So let's start with reading from the book, paragraph, and main idea. Who would like to read? Bradley?
A paragraph is a group of related sentences that develop a topic or main idea. Some paragraphs stand by themselves, but most are parts of longer pieces of writing.
Good. You guys all have main ideas for your academic fair? Everyone has a topic, right? That's your main idea. So your paragraphs are all going to go back to your main idea, okay? And your paragraphs are going to be broken up into details and supporting sentences. Your book has 4 different kinds of paragraphs. So let's take a look at the different kinds. It says writers use 4 main types of paragraphs. The kind you write depends on your purpose. That means whatever you're writing, okay, whether it's a story, whether it's something for a research
you need to plug
project,
into mine, you can later.
you're going to have different kinds of paragraphs. So can someone tell me what is a narrative paragraph? Sam, can you do that?
Narrative tells a story or recounts a series of events.
Does anyone have an example of what kind of story or what kind of paragraph might use a narrative paragraph?
We all wrote these at the beginning of the year. That was what we started our writing on this year. Think back that far to what you wrote your narrative on.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, a story from your past. Okay, that would be about you, like about your life or something. I'm also thinking about, have you seen any like fairy tale movies or Disney movies or something? How does it always start? Once upon a time. That's a narrative, right? I think so.
Yes, you got it. That's a narrative using characters. We wrote personal narratives.
About
You were
yourself.
the characters,
Okay.
so to speak.
All right. Is your academic fair paper going to be a narrative?
No,
Probably not, right? So let's go on to descriptive. Eli, can you read what a descriptive paragraph is?
describes a person, place, or thing.
Good. What's an example of a descriptive story or paragraph? Andrew?
The sun was beaming bright.
Okay. What's a descriptive paragraph going to have a lot of? What kinds of words? Yeah. What are description words?
So like the words that go
Yeah, and what do we call those kinds of words that describe something, that tell about nouns? You got, okay, good. Adjectives, good. So, are any of your academic fair topics going to be just more descriptive? Lynn?
Because I'm talking about like the history of Pompeii, telling people what's it about, how it
Okay, so you might have some descriptive paragraphs in your paper. Yep, that's good. If you're telling about a person maybe? If you're, anyone have a person for your project? No, okay. So you might have some descriptive paragraphs in your papers. How about expository? Brandon, how about Pam? Any other expository paragraph?
Gives information such as facts or ideas.
Who's gonna have expository paragraphs in your, I wanna see everyone's hand up.
This is a new term for us, expository, another word for information writing, right? Giving facts and details. So when Mr. G just said everybody's hand goes up in the air, I wanna see it too, okay? So we're going hands in the air. Who is writing an expository paper? Good. It's a good way to show accountability. I
So
like
we'll work with that one a lot, okay? I'll show you some examples. We'll have some examples, I think, in the next part. And the last one, persuasive. Passion, can you read what a persuasive paragraph would be?
Convinces readers to agree with an opinion and sometimes take action.
You should vote for president because.
Let's not get Liam going on this.
That would be a persuasive, right? If you have an opinion and you want to push your opinion on someone else, onto your reader, you'd use persuasive paragraphs.
So last year, what did you try to persuade others on in the topic for our oral speech contest? Does anyone remember?
Landmarks was best.
Right, why your landmark was the most important. That would be a persuasive piece. Good.
All right.
Okay.
Now we're going to go on to the different parts of the paragraph. So your paper is going to be broken up into paragraphs, and each paragraph is going to be broken up into different parts. So let's see. Liam, can you read the arrow there? Paragraphs.
Paragraphs have no set of rules for length or organized items of the sheet. However, many effective paragraphs, especially expository, persuasive paragraphs, include a topic, sentence, and supporting sentences.
Good. So I heard Mrs. McCann, someone asked Mrs. McCann last week or the week before, how long does it need to be? It was a homework or some essay or something. Someone asked, how long does it need to be? And the answer, what's the answer for you guys now?
No, you're confusing. That's how long your presentation. Mr. G is asking, how long does a paragraph need to be?
A paragraph or a paper or anything now.
What
there a
does it
set
say?
rule?
Paragraphs have no
As
set
As long as you
rules.
want.
As long as you want or as long as you need to get all the information across that you're trying to. Hey, if you can get it through in one sentence, good luck, but
Good
you
luck.
can do it, right? If it takes you 8 sentences, if it takes you 10 sentences, whatever it takes, that's how long your paragraph needs to be. There's no rule, okay? It's not 2 or 3 sentences anymore. It's as long as you need to give all the information.
Once in a while, to clarify in social studies, if you're answering a question, I'll say 3 to 5 sentences, or maybe at least 1 or 2 sentences. But that is not for a paragraph. That's just to answer a question, right? 1 sentence or 2 sentences.
Right. So now let's read the different parts. So the first one, who wants to read about a topic sentence? Will, right?
Use a topic sentence to state your main idea or purpose. A strong topic sentence at the beginning of a paragraph introduces the reader to the topic. Introduces readers to the topic, focuses them on the point, and makes them want to read it.
Good. So for your academic fair, you want to try and catch your audience, your reader, if they're reading your paper or in your presentation, you want to catch their attention first. So you want to think of a good, interesting topic sentence so that they'll want to know more about what you're talking about. Okay, if it's boring, they're just going to put your paper down and go on to the next one, right? So when they come to your, I don't know, do they have their papers at the table?
They do.
Someone wants to know more about your topic, you're going to give your presentation and tell them about it, but they can also read about it, make interesting topic sentences, and they'll want to read more. Then, after the topic sentence, you need to give more details about it, so let's read about supporting sentences. Bryn, can you do that?
The main part of your paragraph explains or supports the main idea. These supporting sentences, also called the body, can include facts, examples, quotations, and other details.
Good. Facts, examples, quotations, and other details. Okay? In your papers, you're going to need examples or all of these different elements in your paragraphs. Are you gonna need quotations in your academic fair? Who thinks they're gonna need quotations? Everybody. Probably everybody, right? Maybe someone's opinion, maybe some famous historian's opinion, or some scientist, right, Eli? Some scientist about the human genome, right? Yeah, so you're gonna want other, maybe experts' opinions, so you're gonna need to put those in quotations.
And if I could, Mr. G, just to bring them back to some prior knowledge of things that they already wrote. When we were doing Teen Activist, that was information. We've already talked about writing in paragraphs when we were writing there. And one of the next things that we talked about was citing examples from the text or quoting parts of the text. So it doesn't even have to be something someone said, but maybe there's something you really like the way it's worded and you want to keep that in your paper. You put quotations around that, and that is a quotation that you can now say is part of your paper as long as you have a bibliography and you're not claiming that you said it that way. So for example, remember some of the words that we use according to here. According to Kristen Lewis, school was, in quotations, a luxury she never took for granted. So something that you might quote is, according to, who's a person that worked on DNA? Have you met any of those in your research yet?
I have not one, but that's a good thing.
Okay, so according to whomever Eli is thinking of but cannot remember his name, the human genome, blah, 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 right? That's using those quotations.
Okay, let's go on. Now we're gonna look at some examples on the next page. So we're gonna turn to page 80 and we're gonna read about Abraham Lincoln. This is just one paragraph from his life, his biography.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
So what if you found a thing on a website, somebody quoting somebody else, and you want to use that? Would you have to put in like double quotation marks?
I would say if they're quoting somebody, they're going to cite that person in their paper. So you can cite the person that they cited, and you don't need to do quotation,
Right.
that. You can take that quotation as long as you cite where that originally came from. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's no such thing as quotation.
Good question.
Good question.
Anybody else have any questions before we go on to the examples? Well,
Like, what if you did find out and his name's like ridiculously like stupid, like
What do you mean, someone's name? We don't usually talk about people's names.
like you
It's
know,
really
you create
long.
your own usernames for stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like a ridiculous name. So like out of like Star Wars 1, 2, 3 or something like that, would you quote it from him?
Well, I don't think that would be a credible source. If we're quoting someone that we don't know who it is, right? Remember, we're gonna talk about a proper bibliography, so we should not be using people's usernames. We don't know who they are and where we're getting our information from, we should not be using that, okay? Usernames do not give us enough information.
if you have an example of that and you're not sure what to do, ask me or Mr. McCann and we'll help you figure that out. All right, let's read the excerpt from Abraham Lincoln's biography. Go ahead, Lincoln.
Lincoln may have seemed like a common man, but he wasn't. His friends agreed that he was one of the most ambitious people that they have ever known. Lincoln struggled hard to rise above his long pattern origin, and he was proud of his achievements. By the time he ran for president, he was a wealthy man, earning a large income from his law practice and many of his investments. As for the nickname Abe, he hated it. No one who knew him well ever called him Abe to his face. They addressed him as Lincoln or Machine Gun.
I never knew that. That Abraham Lincoln didn't like the nickname Abe. Interesting. All right, so we're gonna identify what kind of paragraph would we classify this as? Anybody?
Is it narrative, is it descriptive, is it expository?
Cam, what do you think? What kind of paragraph is this? Is it trying to persuade you to call Abraham Lincoln Abe? No. Is it describing what Abraham Lincoln looks like? What kinds of sentences are in the paragraph? Think makes expository? Is it giving, let's see, let's look at the definition of expository. Is it giving information such as facts and ideas? Yeah, right, so that's expository. How about the topic sentence, the main idea? Can you all find it?
It's underlined, right?
Underline.
Yeah.
Good, can you read it, Liz?
Sometimes, Lincoln, they have seen like a common
Good, so this is what the main idea of the paragraph is, and then everything following it goes back to that main idea to tell more about it. So what are all the sentences after the main idea, or the topic sentence, what are those called? What kind of sentences are all the sentences that follow the topic sentence? That's the whole paragraph. The whole paragraph is an exposition. Right?
Supporting sentence.
Good. You go back, you write about supporting sentences or the body, right? So everything else is information about the topic sentence. Now let's read about the concluding sentence. Sam, can you read that?
Concluding sentence. Concluding sentence also.
You can start from that arrow, yeah.
Okay. Sometimes writers choose to end their paragraph with a concluding sentence, also called a clincher. Concluding sentences often restate the main idea in a new way and tie supporting sentences together. What might be a good concluding sentence for the paragraph about Lincoln?
Okay,
So
so
there isn't one there, right?
no, there's
There's not
no
one there
concluding
yet.
sentence in back at the top, the literary model about Abraham Lincoln. There's no concluding sentence. So first of all, concluding sentence, it needs to kind of tie everything together, retell the topic sentence in different words, that kind of connect all those supporting sentences in a clincher, okay? It's like a good ending to a paragraph. So can anyone think of a good ending to that paragraph that we read about Abraham Lincoln?
Another way to restate what's underlined, right? Kind of bring it back together.
Well, idea?
Although, Abraham Lincoln, I'm just adding like two words.
I like how you started that with although.
Some people address him. Well, he was mostly addressed as Lincoln on the strong.
Although Lincoln,
Was that whole paragraph about his nickname though? We only saw the nickname in sentence 5. That was almost at the end, right? So that's only one small part of that paragraph. So the concluding sentence has to tie the whole paragraph together, not just one part of it. So anyone have an idea? A good example?
Well, I think you were on the right track. Go with
Yeah,
that.
you were.
Yeah.
I like although.
although he seemed like a common man, he really was not.
Pretty good.
You
Yeah,
are.
that works. Anybody else? Henderson?
He was not a common man.
Something about telling that he may have seemed like a common man, just like in the topic sentence, but that in fact he wasn't really that common. He didn't-
Wasn't that popular? In fact, he wasn't.
wasn't that popular.
He was president.
Yeah, it's not about whether or not he was popular. It's about whether or not he was, like the common man. Because we all think of Abraham.
It says no one knew him well enough to ever call him Abe. He was popular because he wasn't very social. He wanted to be focused on what he was doing and get it done.
Yeah, that's probably true from what it says here. Yeah. Good. Okay, last one, Bradley. What do you think?
In addition, Lincoln may have seemed like a common man, but he wasn't.
In addition.
In addition kind of tells us that we're wanting to add something different. So I like maybe a different word than that.
Yeah.
But something like although.
Because in the concluding sentence, you don't want to add anything new to the paragraph. You want to kind of sum up everything you already read before that sentence. Okay? All right, Lindsay?
Though Lincoln wasn't a common man, he seemed like one.
Yeah. I like though and although. Those were good beginning words, transition words. Yeah.
Liam will keep you
Library time.
in line
Oh,
for
I
the
did.
time. So what, this is a good place to stop because we do have about 5 minutes when we come back from
Okay,
library.
good.
So we could go over those 3 paragraphs and then give some of the homework
Okay.
All right, let's get something, bring something with you to go to the library.
Unless if we're not picking a book.
Unless you're, right, if you're not going to pick a book, then you have to have something you're reading.
This isn't a game. I thought we were gonna have time to research.
I thought so too. I forgot we had library.
So did I.
But you